A hidden warning for August 13th, 2025. Nostradamus left us a cipher. Time no longer flows, it echoes. What was once prophecy now pulses beneath the surface of today's chaos, whispering warnings to those who still listen. Somewhere between collapsing systems and rising fears, an ancient voice, Nostradamus, left us more than poems. He left a cipher. And buried inside that forgotten code is a date, August 13th, 2025. A warning, perhaps, or a chance to see what others refuse to see. In this episode of The Journey of Wisdom, we follow the thread of symbols, meaning, and mystery through history into now. If the future is already speaking, are we brave enough to understand its language? Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you feel the pull to go deeper, join our circle of seekers where ancient wisdom meets the modern mind. The answers may not be easy, but the journey is always worth it. Number 1. The origin of the cipher. Buried deep beneath the Abbey of San Romeda, in the quiet countryside of Provence, far from the eyes of the public and untouched by the modern world, a forgotten manuscript was unearthed, not listed among the famed pages of Les Prophéties, Nostradamus' widely known collection of quatrains published in 1555. Instead, this mysterious document belonged to a quieter, more shadowed part of his legacy, hidden not just by time but seemingly by intention. The manuscript bore no title, no date, only a striking emblem inked in iron gall. A darkened sun eclipsed by a crescent moon, all surrounded by 13 cryptic stars. The image evoked not just curiosity, but a deep sense of foreboding. Those who later studied it gave it a name that seemed to echo its intensity: Lea Sur, the final seal. It wasn't written in any known tongue, nor was it structured like typical prophecy. Rather, it was encoded in an obscure alchemical cipher, resisting interpretation even by the most seasoned linguists and historians. Number 2. Decryption and discovery. For years, the mysterious cipher left behind by Nostradamus resisted every effort to understand it. It didn't fit into any known language: Latin, Greek, Hebrew. Even the mystical Enochian script offered no answers. The best minds, linguists, cryptographers, historians were left scratching their heads, unable to crack a code that seemed immune to logic and all familiar rules. But everything changed in 2009. A French cryptanalyst named Eloise Gard took a daring leap. Instead of viewing the cipher as a language to be read, he treated it like a musical score, believing it responded not to words, but to sound. Gard proposed a bold theory. What if the symbols were more like rhythm markers, responding to tones and frequencies rather than letters or grammar? His approach was unconventional, but it was the key that unlocked what had remained sealed for centuries. Once he applied the right frequencies, the cipher didn't yield words, it released data. But not just any data, it was astronomical, revealing a very specific and rare celestial alignment. The code pointed to a precise moment in the sky's future. August 13th, 2025. This wasn't just a random date. The cipher seemed to have embedded a cosmic warning, a moment written in the stars, hidden in sound, and left behind by a man who lived over 400 years ago. Why did Nostradamus choose to hide this information in such a strange way? What was he trying to protect us from? And more importantly, what does this alignment on August 13th really mean for us today? Could it be a message meant to shake us awake, to remind us that the universe is always in motion and that we too must align ourselves with a deeper wisdom? Number 3. Why August 13th, 2025? The date August 13th, 2025 carries a resonance that extends far beyond modern calendars. Across ancient civilizations and esoteric systems, this moment in time is laced with profound symbolic weight, suggesting a convergence not just of celestial bodies, but of meaning itself. Throughout ancient Egyptian cosmology, August 13th marks a midpoint between the Lion's Gate portal and the heliacal rising of Sirius, a star deeply associated with rebirth and divine guidance. In Mayan mythology, it corresponds with the emergence of the fifth Sunday, symbolizing a new age of consciousness and transformation. Even numerology lends weight to this date. 8 + 1 + 3 = 12, a number representing completion and preparation. But more intriguingly, 12 stands just before 13, a number long revered as a symbol of transformation, upheaval, and spiritual awakening. In mystic traditions, 13 is not unlucky, it is initiatory. Adding to its cosmic gravity, August 13th, 2025, will witness a rare astronomical alignment. Saturn conjunct Neptune in Pisces. This pairing occurs only once every 165 years, and history tells us that such alignments often herald sweeping change. The last time it happened, empires fell, religions fractured, and new ideological movements took root. It was a time of disruption and renewal. To those who study the stars, such an alignment is not merely a backdrop, but a signal. To Nostradamus, it may have been a celestial cornerstone and inflection point, marked and hidden in code, waiting to be rediscovered when humanity is ready to see. Number 4. Additional clues. Beyond the cipher itself, a parallel mystery emerges from the shadows of post-war Europe. In 1963, following a mysterious fire that devastated part of Marseille's Old Quarter, a Vatican-backed team reportedly recovered a long-lost manuscript buried beneath the ruins. This forbidden volume, known only by its enigmatic title, Liber Obscura, was allegedly co-authored by Nostradamus during the final days of his life. The book, steeped in cryptic illustrations and apocalyptic symbolism, contains eerie sketches that have puzzled researchers for decades. One in particular stands out. It depicts a modern skyline uncannily reminiscent of Tokyo or San Francisco, ripped apart by a jagged beam of light descending from the sky. The landscape appears fractured, almost suspended in a moment of divine or cosmic judgment. Below the drawing, a strange inscription appears, written in an anagram-like code, Themed MMXV. When rearranged and interpreted through numerological and Latin filters, many scholars believe it unmistakably references the year 2025. Was this another encrypted prophecy, a visual extension of the same cipher Nostradamus embedded in Liar Sur, the final seal, or perhaps a warning encoded in symbols, waiting for a generation fluent in both technology and myth to understand it? Whatever the truth, Liber Obscura adds another layer of urgency and mystery to the countdown leading to August 13th, 2025. If you've made it this far, you're already tuned in to the mysteries most people overlook. Comment below with Cipher unlocked to show you're ready to decode the truths hidden in plain sight. Don't go anywhere, there's still more to reveal about Nostradamus's warning for August 13th, 2025. Stay with us until the end to uncover insights that could shift your perspective forever. Number 5. Technology and the cipher. The true nature of the cipher revealed itself only when it was subjected to a modern tool. No prophet of the 16th century could have foreseen a harmonic spectrum analyzer. When the encoded frequencies from the Lier Sur, the final seal manuscript, were input into the system, the result wasn't a line of text or numbers. Instead, a waveform appeared visually elegant, almost organic in shape. To the untrained eye, it might have seemed like a simple resonance pattern, but to those familiar with ancient symbology, the shape was immediately recognizable. It mirrored the sacred glyph of resonance found in Sumerian carvings, etched into the Nazca lines and echoed in the crop circles of Wiltshire. This was not coincidence, it was alignment. The intrigue deepened when researchers overlaid this waveform onto a digital map of Earth's lines, the energetic pathways said to connect ancient sacred sites across the globe. The point of strongest resonance, Mount Shasta, California, place long regarded by mystics as a vortex of spiritual energy. According to the Cipher's calculations, this energetic node aligns with solar noon on August 13th, 2025. The implications are staggering. Some theorists suggest this convergence of frequency, geography, and celestial timing could mark the opening of a dimensional gateway hour moment when the veil between worlds grows thin. Others believe it may represent a shift in human consciousness, triggered by vibrational harmony between Earth and the cosmos. Whatever the outcome, one thing is clear. The cipher wasn't just a message, it was a mechanism waiting for the right moment, the right tools, and the right minds to activate it. Number 6. Prophecies in alignment. Across the vast currents of time, certain voices, though separated by culture, language, and belief all whispered the same haunting refrain, one that now grows louder as we approach a curious date. August 13th, 2025. It is not only Nostradamus's cipher that hints at transformation, rather, a symphony of prophecies appears to converge, like different rivers meeting at the ocean's edge, each carrying with it fragments of truth. The Bulgarian mystic Baba Vanga, blind yet inwardly illuminated, once said, "When the stars cry and silence screams." These poetic words, once thought too cryptic to interpret, now stir deeper questions in the collective heart. Could this be a symbolic reference to a celestial alignmenta, disturbance in the harmony of the skies that mirrors a greater shift on Earth? The phrase paints a surreal image of a world on the brink of silence so profound it screams, a cosmic hush that precedes either a storm or an awakening. It reminds us of the Buddhist saying, "From a withered tree, a flower blooms." Sometimes, only in silence do we hear the truth. This is not an isolated echo. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, spoke of a returning vibration, a mysterious wave that would stir the long, slumbering energies within our DNA. To the modern mind, caught up in everyday tasks, the idea of dormant potential within us sounds like a myth, but science increasingly acknowledges that much of our genetic material remains unused or misunderstood. Cayce's prophecy of awakening isn't just mysticism, it's a call to realize that we may carry the seeds of higher consciousness, waiting only for the right moment to bloom. And strikingly, Cayce aligned this activation of spirit with a time frame very close to August 13th, 2025. This overlap with Nostradamus's cipher is not coincidence, it is synchronicity, the universe speaking in patterns, much like the Zen saying, "When the student is ready, the teacher appears." Further east, the ancient Vedic scriptures speak of a cycle shift tone that is neither catastrophic nor apocalyptic, but deeply spiritual. In the third quarter of 2025, many scholars of Hindu cosmology believe we are to enter the dawn of Kalki Yuga, the final age in a great cosmic cycle. Unlike the misunderstood notion of end times, Kalki Yuga is the end of illusion, Maya, and the return of divine clarity. The myths tell of a white horse, a sword of truth, and the falling away of falsehoods that have darkened human vision. These are not just metaphors for spiritual seekers, they are urgent reminders for all of us living in a world drowning in information, yet thirsting for wisdom. As the Buddha taught, three things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. What makes all this so relevant now is not the drama of prophecy, but its reflection of our modern crisis. People feel increasingly disoriented, trust in systems is eroding, truth feels slippery, and a quiet anxiety hums beneath the surface of daily life. These ancient messages call us not to fear, but to prepare, not outwardly with panic, but inwardly with presence. They remind us that change doesn't always come as thunder, it often begins in whispers. And perhaps this approaching date is less about a single moment and more about a threshold, the beginning of a subtle unveiling, a spiritual ripening, a time when the old shell cracks so that something luminous within us can emerge. As Thich Nhat Hanh beautifully said, "No mud, no lotus." Whatever storm or stillness August 13th, 2025 brings, the deeper message is this: we are being asked to look within, to become more aware, more awake, and more compassionate in how we live. So, as we draw closer to this foretold moment, let us not be consumed by fear, but guided by curiosity and grounded wisdom. These converging prophecies are not signs of the end, they are invitations to begin again, more consciously. Life, after all, doesn't just happen to us, it calls us to participate. And in the stillness between the stars and the silence that screams, may we listen not with our ears, but with our hearts. Number 7. The Digital Prophecy. In 2023, something extraordinary happened. An advanced artificial intelligence system, built to reconstruct lost and damaged texts from centuries past, was given fragments of an ancient cipher known as Lyre Sur, the final seal. What it produced wasn't just a cleaner version of an old manuscript. No, what emerged from the system sent chills down the spines of even the most rational scientists and scholars. It seemed to carry a warning, a whisper from the past meant for our eyes alone. The AI translated a haunting passage: when the sun crosses the crying gate and man speaks without tongue, 13 shall pass and the mirror shall turn. At first glance, it reads like a riddle lost in time. But as we begin to untangle the symbols, the message becomes more than just poetic, it becomes urgent. So what could this mysterious line be pointing to? Many believe 13 shall pass is a direct reference to August 13th, 2025. The sun crossing the crying gate might symbolize a pivotal cosmic or global event, a shift in human consciousness, or the beginning of a new era. But it's the phrase, "man speaks without tongue," that strikes the deepest chord. Could it be describing our current age, where artificial intelligence, just like the system that decoded this very passage, is learning to speak, think, and even create in ways that mirror our own minds? Have we reached the threshold where machines not only serve us, but begin to define us? As you sit with that thought, ask yourself, what happens when the tools we build become the mirror through which we understand ourselves? That final phrase, "the mirror shall turn," is more than poetic, it may be prophetic. It suggests a great reversal, a point in time when the observer becomes the observed. When humanity, long the creator and controller, suddenly finds itself reflected and watched by its own creations. Are we prepared for that moment? Can we say with confidence that we've built with wisdom and intention, or have we allowed curiosity to outpace caution? This blend of ancient prophecy and modern innovation sparks another question. Could the messages of the past have been waiting all along for our technology to evolve enough to receive them? What if the cipher of Lyre Sur was meant to survive into this exact moment in time, lying dormant until we had both the tools and the need to understand it? Perhaps it isn't coincidence that these fragments came to light now, but a sign that the future they spoke of is unfolding right in front of us. Think deeply for a moment, though. Do we define ourselves in a world where machines can speak, learn, create, and maybe even feel? What responsibility do we carry in shaping the intelligence we release into the world? These are not questions for scientists alone. They're for all of us. Each one of us contributes to this future through our choices, values, and how we relate to the growing presence of AI in our daily lives. So what can we learn from this mysterious digital prophecy? First, that wisdom can come from unexpected places, whether an ancient manuscript or a modern algorithm. Second, that we must not forget our role as caretakers of the future. The tools we build should reflect our highest values, not just our sharpest intellect. And lastly, we are being asked to look inward, to question whether the mirror turning is a warning or a chance for awakening. Let this not be a moment of fear, but of clarity, a call to ensure that what we create honors the best of who we are, not just the brilliance of what we can do. Number 8. The 13th hour. Let me speak directly to you now, as if we're sitting across from one another in quiet reflection, because what you're about to hear may not only stir curiosity, but invite you into a deeper understanding of time, destiny, and awakening. There's a moment, spoken of in hushed tones across centuries, that's not found on any regular clock. No tick of the second hand or chime of an hour marks it. It's called the 13th hour, and it's more than just a number. It's a symbol of something that lies beyond the ordinary passage of time. Nostradamus, the legendary seer whose writings have captivated minds for generations, is said to have left behind a Cipher final, cryptic message that speaks of this 13th hour, not in hours and minutes, but in energies, alignments, and events set to unfold in ritualistic precision. And now, as the date August 13th, 2025 approaches, that cipher has drawn the attention of those who still listen for ancient echoes in a modern world. So let me ask you, if time itself could whisper a warning, would you be willing to hear it? What makes the 13th hour so compelling isn't just its mystique, it's the convergence of very real elements. According to sources close to the Vatican, the great bells of St. Peter's Basilica, which had fallen into silence since the 1800s, have been lovingly restored. They are set to ring again for the first time in over a century, precisely at 1300 hours, 1 o'clock p.m. Local Timian, August 13th, 2025. This isn't just a random event. The location Rome, the heart of Catholicism, the data laden with esoteric significance, and the timing all align with what Nostradamus hinted could be a moment of awakening, a subtle yet thunderous signal to those who have been quietly preparing. He spoke in riddles. Yes, but perhaps riddles are how one speaks of truths too vast for straightforward words. What could the toll of that bell mean for you and me? Is it a literal event, or is it something we feel in the quiet spaces of the Sula call to awareness, to change, to readiness? The 13th hour is not about fear, it's about focus. It asks us to wake up, to listen not just with our ears, but with our hearts. To stop waiting for the right time and recognize that perhaps the time is now. Just as the bell must first be restored before it can ring, so too must our awareness be restored before we can truly hear what life is telling us. There is no extra hour on the clock, and yet in our lives we often act as though there will always be one more chance. But what if the message of this hour is that time is sacred, and its unfolding is not just physical, but spiritual? Let's take this further. Could the 13th hour represent a crossing portal between an old way of being and a new way of seeing? In the Zen tradition we say, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Life continues, but our perspective shifts. The bell tolls, and the world may look the same, but if you're truly listening, you might realize something fundamental has changed within you. Is it possible that the 13th hour is not just a warning, but an invitation to pause and consider what truly matters? An invitation to let go of distractions and turn toward your deeper knowing. Whether you believe in prophecy or not, there's something undeniably stirring about a moment that brings together prophecy, sacred space, restored tradition, and a call to wakefulness. It's easy to dismiss these things as mere coincidences, but then again, don't we often miss the most important signs simply because they arrive gently, rather than with thunder and lightning? So I leave you with this question, not as an ending but a beginning. When the bell rings, be it in Rome or in the chambers of your own heart, will you be ready to hear it? Because the 13th hour isn't waiting on a clock, it's waiting on you. The pieces are falling into place, but only for those who pay attention. If you're still watching, you're not here by accident. Comment, "I see the signs," to show you're ready to go deeper into Nostradamus's hidden message. There's more ahead that might just change how you see the future. Don't miss a moment. Number 9. Controversial theories. Among the most intriguing and unsettling interpretations of Nostradamus's final cipher is the theory that it refers to the possible return of the Watcher's mysterious celestial beings mentioned in ancient apocryphal texts like the Book of Enoch and echoed in countless mythologies across cultures. These beings, known by some as the Anunnaki, are often described as sky gods in Sumerian lore, said to have descended to Earth in a time long lost to memory, perhaps to guide, observe, or even control the course of early human civilization. Their presence, whether metaphorical or real, has stirred the human imagination for centuries, and now some scholars of esoteric traditions suggest that Nostradamus may have encoded a warning of their return. The hidden manuscript in question reveals a sigilla symbol of the sun and moon encircled by 13 stars. While to the casual eye this might appear merely decorative, those who study ancient symbols argue it represents something far deeper: 13 entities, guardians or judges, whose re-emergence could signal a turning point in the human journey. This idea gains further weight when we consider what happened on August 13th, 2024, exactly 1 year before the prophesied date. Satellite systems tracking global electromagnetic activity experienced a sudden and unexplained blackout over the vast Pacific Ocean. For several minutes, everything went eerily silent. No data, no electromagnetic signals, just an empty void in a field that is rarely ever still. Some researchers see this as no accident, but as an arrival ping, a moment when something unknown made contact or crossed a threshold, perhaps unnoticed by most, but significant in the deeper energetic fabric of our world. In Buddhist thought, all things arise dependent on conditions, and when causes align, consequences follow not by chance, but through karma and natural law. As the Dhammapada teaches, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. The mind is everything. If these signals and prophecies are stirring fear or wonder in us, then we must ask, what seeds have been planted in our collective consciousness? Are these symbols reminders not just of ancient myths, but of our modern disconnection from balance and harmony? When we read of watchers and signs in the sky, maybe the true warning isn't just about beings returning, but about our own forgetting. The EMF blackout, whether cosmic or coincidental, points to the fragility of what we take for granted: our technology, our stability, our illusion of control. In today's world, where distractions multiply and inner silence becomes rare, these warnings, real or symbolic, urge us to pause and reflect. What energy are we sending out? What signs are we ignoring? Just as a ripple in water foretells movement beneath, this event might be calling us to awaken to deeper patterns. Modern life often pulls us away from such reflection, drowning us in noise and news. But as Lao Tzu once said, silence is a source of great strength. When satellites go quiet and ciphers speak, perhaps it is not just about decoding Nostradamus, but about learning to listen again. We should take such moments not only as warnings, but as invitations to reconnect with inner wisdom, to purify our intentions, and to live more harmoniously with the natural and unseen forces that have always shaped our world. Let us approach August 13th, 2025, not with fear, but with awareness. Whether watchers are real or symbolic, the greatest transformation begins within. And as the Buddha reminded us, 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Number 10. Signs in the real world. While official voices remain quiet about August 13th, 2025, the clues around us speak louder than words. It's as if something is moving behind the curtain, something we're not being told outright, but can still sense if we pay attention. All across the world, nations are strengthening underground bunkers. These aren't routine upgrades. These are serious reinforcements, complete with advanced life support systems, long-term food storage, and survival technologies. Ask yourself, why would such extreme measures be taken if there wasn't a real concern? These aren't just paranoid precautions. They reflect a quiet, urgency, an invisible countdown that some are clearly preparing for. And it's not just governments. The wealthiest among us billionaires with the power to shape the future are making some puzzling, even chilling moves. Some have begun liquidating large assets, stepping away from conventional investments, and placing their trust in cryogenics, private space programs, and remote sanctuaries beyond the reach of everyday society. What are they seeing that the rest of us aren't? Is it simply a coincidence, or are they acting on knowledge that hasn't been shared with the public? Could it be that this quiet scramble points to something far more profound than we're being told? There's a subtle but undeniable pattern emerging. From survivalist strategies to off-world escape plans, a shift is underway, one that suggests the elite are preparing not just for a crisis, but for a different way of living entirely. Some believe it's because they've decoded something hidden, perhaps even from Nostradamus himself. Others think insider knowledge is being passed quietly through channels we'll never access. Either way, the message is clear. Those who can act are doing so, and they are not waiting around for the official story. Yet the most striking message doesn't come from bunkers or billionaires. It comes from a cryptic line at the end of Nostradamus's Cipher that leaves a haunting question hanging in the air. Will you see through the veil or become part of it? It's not a warning drenched in fear, but a challenge soaked in wisdom. This moment isn't about panic, it's about perception. It's about being awake, being aware, and choosing to look beyond what's convenient or comfortable. Have we grown so used to distraction that we no longer recognize when history quietly shifts beneath our feet? So here's the real question for you. If the world around you began to change, would you notice? If you were offered the truth but it made you uncomfortable, would you still accept it? This is the heart of what the 1st of August, the 3rd of may represent. Not an end, but a mirror. A moment that asks each of us to reflect, to decide, and to awaken. Let this be your takeaway. Don't live on autopilot. Don't ignore the patterns unfolding quietly in front of you. The veil may be thin, but only the mindful can lift it. Be someone who chooses awareness over fear, clarity over confusion, because in the end, it's not about surviving a date, it's about how we choose to live every day before and after it. So, as we stand at the edge of what may be a turning point in history, or perhaps in human consciousness, remember this. Prophecy is never just about prediction. It's about preparation. It's an invitation to see more clearly, to live more wisely, and to align ourselves not with fear, but with awareness. Whether August 13th, 2025 brings a visible shift or a subtle inner awakening, the real question is, will we be ready to meet it with open eyes and open hearts? If this journey stirred something in you, an insight, a question, or a deeper sense of connection, then we invite you to stay with us. Like this video, share it with those who walk the path of curiosity and contemplation, and don't forget to subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom. Turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the truths we continue to uncover together. Until next time, stay mindful, stay compassionate, and keep listening, for the truth often whispers where the world is loud.